So apparently, a so-called artist almost won a $2,000 art contest with what seems to be fake AI art from all indications, leaving the other contenders, who were all hardworking artists who invested their hard-earned sweat, tears and blood, spending hours on end making actual art for the art competition, with nothing but their crinkly drawing tablets in their hands, clutching their chewed-on tablet pens as a metaphorical consolation prize. Another sad day for artists. Clipstudiopaint, one of the biggest and popular for all the right reasons drawing programs among artists alike, announced their 44th International Art Contest, with the theme being flowers and plants, and a juicy prize pot of 2,000 Uncle Sam dollars and a 3-year Clipstudiopaint activation code for the artist that comes in first place. They also get their art featured all across Clip Studio's social media platforms and also used as the profile picture of all Clip Studio accounts. The runner-up coming in second place gets $500 and $200 for the artists who come in third, fourth and fifth. 6th place to 10th each receive a whopping $100 each. And Clip Studio also had awards for honorable mentions and a few other categories. Not that crazy of a prize pool, but at least it's something for all the artists who shared their art in the competition. There was so much good art submitted under the CSP contest hashtag, and it was just so awesome seeing all these amazing artists putting their time into creating something they really enjoyed and will be proud of, even though, well, there was a cool soothing cash prize attached to the competition. Now fast forward a couple of weeks, Clipstudiopaint finally announced the winners of the art contest, and while all 3 of the artists all looked to have made very impressive art, one of these quote-unquote drawings looked rather suspicious. Now, according to the official rules of the competition, entries that are fan art depicting real people or existing characters, products or brands will not be accepted. So basically, everything you drew had to be off the dome or an original character of your own choosing. Entries that were traced or copied from illustrations, photos, videos, etc. and were not created by the contestant will not be accepted. So basically, no cheating or stealing. Entries that were mainly created through the use of AI, artificial intelligence, will not be accepted. Do I even need to say anything? Well, apparently after going through the vigorous process of painstakingly going through all the artwork that was submitted to the competition and choosing their winners, it will seem the judges or whoever picked the drawings did a great job in selecting the winners, but somehow one fake artist slipped through the cracks and miraculously came in right up in second place, beating a host of other amazing artists who had more or less spent time making their drawings themselves and almost taking the crown and winning the entire competition themselves. Second place is absolutely AI generated. Really disappointing to see a supposedly reputable art contest being that easily duped. Second place is 1,000,000% AI, $500 for an AI generated image. Wow. AI was clearly used at least to some degree to create the second piece. Not sure what kind of people judge and prove these contests, since you can see in the comments that people who make art can tell something is off at first glance, and then of course examine the details to be sure. Please do better. Maybe hire some artists. You are an art company, for fuck's sake. This image, which was submitted by a now private and or deleted account on Instagram, is what was stirring up the pot and causing a ruckus under Clipstudiopaint's post. Taking a look at the image at first glance, you can immediately feel something is off. You can't immediately start spotting all the traits until you begin to look closely, but you can just feel something isn't right. To the normal eye, it looks like a decent painting. The angle and composition is good, the lighting is decent, and the colors and entire mood of the painting are reminiscent of paintings from artists like Arte Guylan, Jamila Koff, and other artists who make art similar to that of the Studio Ghibli art style. And while all these artists are incredibly good and make every single drawing all by themselves, the quote-unquote artist who made this image certainly isn't one of them. The first sign that tells me this image is AI is the girl in the water. She doesn't look like she is underwater at all, and it immediately looks off and breaks the image apart, in my opinion. For an artist that supposedly knows how to paint and understands light and color judging from just the other parts of the image, you should automatically understand that the girl will also be hit by the light source and ambient light which is supposedly hitting the water water, so her skin underwater shouldn't be the same exact color as the boy's skin who is clearly above the water. Her hands also look a little bit like AI, but it's not as bad as how AI was known to draw hands back in the days. Apparently, AI has improved in that aspect, but the part of the image that stands out the most after closely looking at it and screams AI is the hands of the boy and how it seems to be connecting and leading into his right leg instead of in between like the other hand, which will just make the pose feel normal just thinking about it, because I don't see myself bringing one hand all the way over the other leg when I'm trying to give someone that's in front of me a little flower. The pose just doesn't make any sense. The trees, foliage and leaves mostly look believable since it's easy for AI to replicate that, because those parts of the painting don't really require that much detail and could easily be passed off by using broad simple strokes just to imply detail. One thing I will note is how this part of the reflections from the flowers looks a little too mushy and resembles typical AI slop compared to other reflections all in relatively close parts of the painting. Typically, you'll expect this amount of ripples and loss of details from parts of the water where there's movement in. In this part of the painting, that will be where the girl's hand is coming out of the water, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking about it a little too hard for absolutely no reason at all. Any more thinking and I might end up being the modern day Isaac Newton for AI art apologists. The so-called drawing ended up getting more scrutiny than Pedro Pascal's sexuality, and people in the comments were calling out the quote-unquote artists, telling them to post a time-lapse of them making the drawing, or at least a step-by-step process of their drawing, so all the people accusing them of using AI could be put to shame, and they could also pry the $500 from the cold hands of clipstudiopaint officials. But apparently the artists, in air quotes, posted their drawing process, and the people who saw it said it still didn't look convincing enough because some parts just looked traced and sloppy to have been drawn by the same artist that posted the final image everyone was raving about. The second artist has never drawn in that style ever. In their process video, it was only blocking, never rendering the piece. They clearly used AI to render it. The artist can clearly draw from their other work, but they did not fully draw this piece. I went on the page to give it the benefit of doubt, but even I can say it's highly suspicious that their speed paint time-lapse just ends as they get to the subject. The subject speed paint is just clicking layers that are already completed, such as the flower. The second one looks like traced AI. If you see the speed paint on the artist's profile, it already starts with a sketch, not to mention they use Procreate at the beginning and it's easy to fake a speed paint in Procreate. Almost every single person in the comments was definitely certain the person who shared this image had used AI to manipulate the image in one way or the other. And while some people were defending them saying they were actual artists and knew how to draw and indirectly saying this was just a mild misunderstanding, all the evidence was leading up to only one conclusion. Our friend here had used AI and has been using AI for probably the longest time ever to make all their quote-unquote drawings.
So, you're an AI artist.
Well, actually, I just prefer artists.
So basically, I go onto one of these AI art generators, right?
I try and think of a really good idea.
Dog playing basketball.
Now I'm creating it.
But you're not making it.
Well, I'm doing it, yeah. I told it what to make, you know?
Who are some of your inspirations?
I really like Francesco del Giocondo. He did the Mona Lisa.
That was Da Vinci.
Well, he commissioned it. He's technically the artist that made that.
Oh, my art's done. Look at this. Yeah, isn't this beautiful? I really love how I got the shading done on this. I really outdone myself this time.
After this whole drama ensued, they immediately went private or deleted their account because I tried searching for them to see the rest of their drawings for myself, but I couldn't find the account on Instagram. Fellow internet yapping colleague Viora had the delusional idea to make a video of some of their art just before the page disappeared, and she shared it in her video.
Again, because their entire page is now deleted, I am showing work from their website. This was linked in their Instagram before they went private, and I looked at it prior, so it was just in my history. And what you're seeing on screen is kind of what they had on their Instagram page, just a lot of concept art, some scenery. So I definitely understand why a lot of people did not think they used AI, because they were very professional and they called themselves a concept artist and map painter. On their page, you can also see that they worked with a lot of high-end clients like Riot Games, Microsoft, Sony. But one thing that stood out was Nvidia. I don't have screenshots of this, so you're just gonna have to believe me, but before they had Nvidia concept designer in their bio. And this comment over here can hopefully vouch for me. And if you don't know, Nvidia is a very, very pro AI company. And I should mention, just because they worked for a very pro AI company, it does not necessarily mean or is sound evidence that they used AI on this specific image. But it was something to consider.
Viora also made a piece for the competition, so if you want to see how she ended up and what her drawing looks like, you should definitely go check out her video after watching this one. After all the complaints that ensued, the judges from Clip had to take down the image from all their social media accounts and made an update to all their announcement posts with an official statement to clear the air. One of the winning pieces in the contest was found to be created partially with generative AI as confirmed by the creator. This entry has been withdrawn. Our judging process includes several stages of checks with tools as well as visual review by multiple team members to assess for generative AI use. We apologize that this system was not sufficient in this case. I mean, I'm glad the person just admitted to them using AI in the first place instead of having to just lie about it, I guess. We hope for this contest to be a fun and fair experience for all creators who join. For future iterations, we will clarify the rules on generative AI use and re-examine our review system. People were still frowning and pointing fingers at Clip Studio for not properly scrutinizing every individual artwork that was submitted into the competition and for almost allowing someone using fake art just win the entire competition. They called Clip Studio out in lengthy posts and shared their frustration about the situation. At this point, clipstudiopaint, the literal software and the one who held the event in the first place, should have known better on how artists stand in the AI usage. The artist shouldn't even be qualified as an entry. Not only did this artist enter the competition with AI artwork, they even got second place. I think the artist probably thought no one would suspect a thing and didn't expect to be picked as a winner. Thank goodness they admitted their wrongdoings, but again, CSP is in a larger fault here. Couldn't you at least hire a real person to review the selected winning entries before posting them? This is truly outrageous and a disgraceful mess coming from such a large company. The second entry is clearly made with AI. I can't believe there isn't even a single person in the company who can tell which entries are clearly fake. This one was easy. Artists will lose all motivation to participate in Clip Studio contests, and I wouldn't be surprised by the decline the platform will experience in the coming months. Congratulations, you were completely fooled by an intelligence that goes beyond the human eye, and the worst part is you are artists. I think at this point we shouldn't be pointing fingers at each other saying, oh it's your fault, oh it's yours, but we can't shift all the blame from Clip Studio Paint. Knowing the state of art and how rampant the use of AI generated art is within the art community and the rest of the internet, the judges of the competition should have paid closer attention to each applicant's drawing and even extra attention when choosing the final winners, just to avoid situations like this happening and demoralizing all the other artists who participated knowing fully well they probably wouldn't even win and were just trying to gain some experience or just drawing for fun. This also isn't the first time AI art has been used in art competitions and ended up being picked as a winner. A similar situation happened some years back where an AI artist entered an art competition and ended up winning the entire thing using AI art.
AI just won an art competition and artists are pissed. This is the image they won. It's called Theatre d'Opera Spatial. I guess that's how you pronounce it. It won Colorado's State Fair Fine Art Competition in the digital art category, but this is the problem. The artist behind it, Jason Allen, did not say that it was generated by AI until later, and it created a mess. Artists are pissed because the piece of art was created by an algorithm, not by a human being. Someone even said we're witnessing the death of artistry unfold before our eyes. But Allen says that his input was instrumental. He tested hundreds of prompts and spent weeks fine-tuning them to get what he actually really liked. And so he's pissed at artists because he says that they are not valuing his human input. I think we are confusing art with craftsmanship. Art is art because it gives you emotion, not because somebody used a brush.
Now, I know software companies that make digital art programs and devices are well aware how harmful AI art is to the same artists that are using the devices and programs they're developing. And while some of them have made clear that they will not be partnering with any use of AI in their programs and including it in any updates, some others are promoting the use of AI art to artists, saying it's the next level of human creativity and will aid artists in making better pictures. One of our most popular drawing device manufacturers even went ahead to sponsor an art contest which was promoting the use of AI art in the competition instead of encouraging artists to use their own creativity to make their drawings.
Wacom, a Japanese company that manufactures drawing tablets for artists, is under fire online for being the sponsor of a high school AI art contest. The AI art contest is hosted by Seifu University, an IT college in Osaka, Japan. It is open to all high school students in Japan, and according to the contest's website, the goal is to, quote, spread knowledge and interest in generative AI among high school students and, quote, foster creativity through art production using generative AI. This is the promo poster for the contest, and at the bottom here, you can see that Wacom is listed as one of the sponsors. This upset a lot of artists because Wacom's entire business is selling drawing tablets to artists, designers, and photographers so that they're able to unleash their creativity. These pages are taken from Wacom's official website and markets products, including its stylus pens, as powerful companions to artists. So Wacom sponsoring an AI art contest seems to go against the company's entire philosophy of supporting artists. This is not the first time that Wacom has been caught up in controversy about AI art, though in January, the company copped backlash from the artistic community after using AI-generated art in a New Year campaign. In a statement, Wacom apologized, explaining that it had purchased the images from a third-party vendor. Back to the AI art contest. So on the contest official website, it states that entrants must use AI art generators DALL-E 3, Stable Diffusion, or Niji Journey to produce their art. The winner will take home 30,000 yen, or around 289 Australian dollars in prize money.
This whole situation is just bad, and I feel this rampant use and promotion of AI art by the same companies that pioneered digital art is going to cause quite the stir in the younger generation of artists just starting out, making them consider just using AI instead of actually learning how to draw. And while people are starting to see just how disruptive AI is to actual artists, I hope younger artists will be able to understand and overcome the pressure of seeking faster shortcuts or validation and instead persevere through making actual good art and spending the time it takes to get better. Well, it looks like you made it to the end of this video. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like, share the video with a friend, and subscribe to the channel if you are new here. With all that being said, I'll see all you pretty penguins in the next video. Bye!